Welcome to Chaos to Clarity, where we discuss healing trauma with godly guidelines. I'm your host, John Fontenot. Let's dive into today's topic, emotions, a different perspective on this topic. As previously stated, it is a mental reaction based on strong feelings. Some are happiness, sadness, fear, trust, joy, disgust, surprise, anger, and anticipation. Our human nature is to be emotional. Reacting from emotions are very fast compared to being rational. This is called reactive, and it's largely done subconsciously. It's useful in an emergency or a dangerous situation, but not healthy in day-to-day life. God reminds us in Proverbs 16:32, better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes the city. Which means that we should be patient and not make a decision quickly. Rather pray about it and ask God to give us guidance. Emotions aren't the enemy of good decisions. We just have to, one, identify which emotion we feel as we face the decision, and two, what emotion do we want to feel as we look back on the decision. Most of us think of disgust as some nasty, rotten food or a dead animal, something that will gross you out. Well, there's another meaning which we don't give much thought to, but it's part of trauma healing. It's a core emotion that tells us about how our environment is affecting us. We get to a point of being disgusted by the behavior or environment that we want to remove ourselves from. Basically, to expel the toxic to us, whether it's a person or a place. A personal experience of mine is we tend to overlook some forms of abuse or overstepping of boundaries. Being respectful or not wanting to cause a fight. We oftentimes allow others to take advantage of us or a situation. But pushing our own self aside for others isn't healthy. And God doesn't want His children to be treated poorly. He doesn't want us being criticized by another or being talked down on. And He doesn't want us to be around these types of people or behavior, whether it's done directly or indirectly. Once we realize this isn't a healthy relationship and or environment, we either remove ourselves or we remove that person or place from our life, especially if they don't or can't see that it is a fault. It can't be addressed or communicated in a healthy way. We're reminded in 1 Peter 5:6, humble yourselves under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. Which means give it to Him. Let Him do the fixing. And then if it's meant to be restored, He'll hand it back to you without all the junk. The key is to identify that this is one of the first steps in healing. I think God allows us to be so disgusted that we say, okay, I can't do this, or I can't be around this type of behavior anymore. It's not healthy, and it's definitely not going to be good for my healing journey. It's not helping me propel myself in the direction that I want to go. Oftentimes, it's a confirmation of uneasy feelings when we're around people or places that don't sit right with us, i.e. meaning that it's potentially toxic. We can identify the trauma or the toxicity, reflect on it, and then begin to heal from it, becoming our authentic self. More references can be found in Galatians 5:22 through 23, James 1:20, Proverbs 16:32, and Romans 15:13 and James 5:16. Thank you so much for listening to Chaos to Clarity, helping one another declutter our minds together. If you're loving the podcast, I'd be so honored if you'd go ahead and hit that follow or subscribe button and leave me a review. Until next time, friends.